There are two ways to deploy Jamf data capping to user devices. Most organizations opt to do a managed deployment via their Unified Endpoint Management or UEM solution like Jamf Pro to streamline the app installation and configuration process. This is the method covered in our previous video, UEM deployment of Jamf data capping. However, for organizations with unmanaged devices, or those choosing to not deploy Jamf data capping via their UEM, organizations can rely on manually deploying the service through user-initiated enrollment by providing users with an invitation URL or QR code. Hello again, welcome to user-initiated enrollment of Jamf data capping with me, Braden. In this video, we are going to walk through how you can have users manually enroll themselves into Jamf data capping by leveraging user-initiated enrollment. Feel free to go back one video to UEM deployment of Jamf data capping if your organization intends on conducting a managed deployment. Or skip this video and move on to the next one, notifications for Jamf data capping. If user-initiated enrollment is right for your organization, let's get started. There are 4 steps to user-initiated enrollment of Jamf data capping: creating activation profiles, selecting the device group, inviting users, and having them download the Jamf Trust app. Activation profiles are used to enroll devices into Jamf data capping. Activation profiles generate the enrollment URL and QR code, which directs users to download the Jamf Trust app and connects their device to your organization's Radar tenant. While creating activation profiles, administrators can create device groups. Device groups are organizational buckets used to categorize like devices. All devices can either be placed in the default group, or we can create new specific device groups which can be tied back to policies we create in video 2, customized policies for Jamf data capping for situations where different groups of users get access to different types of mobile data usage restrictions. For example, we may want to make a device group based on device type, department, or if the user provides the device. Device organization becomes handy when we block mobile data usage once a user's allowance is met under most job functions, but allow other specific device groups to only be notified when their usage limit is reached and not blocked entirely. The next step in our deployment is going to be to send the invitation URL or QR code generated by the activation profile to our users. This URL can be copied to your device's clipboard and sent via email, Slack, text message, or any other communication platform. When users tap on the invitation URL, they are taken either to the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store, depending on their operating system, to install the Jamf Trust app. Jamf Trust is the intermediary between the user's device and Radar. It monitors network traffic on the device to know where a user is within their mobile data allowance and provides reporting back to Radar. Now that we have reviewed all 4 steps to a Jamf data capping deployment, let's walk through the process. To set up user-initiated enrollment, we must first sign in to Radar by going to bt-radar.wandera.com. Once signed in to Radar, navigate towards the menu on the left and click Devices, Deployment, Activation Profiles. Click Create Profile under the Manage Activation Profiles header. First, enter in a name to identify your activation profile easily. I am typing BYOD since I am deploying to an employee-provided iPhone. BYOD stands for Bring Your Own Device. Suppose you would like to deploy to a specific device group. In that case, you can select the group from the device group dropdown or start typing to add a new device group. I am typing BYOD so that all team members who enroll with this activation profile are going to automatically be categorized as Bring Your Own Device. Once the device group name is typed, click Create Option BYOD to formalize the group's creation. Click Next in the lower right corner. Jamf data capping is already selected under Capabilities. Click Next to proceed. For the example in this video, leave Without Identity Provider selected. When using Without Identity Provider, Jamf recommends selecting Ask User to Submit Name and Email and selecting Name Required and Email Required so devices are tied to a specific user. Click Next. We have a few advanced settings to finish up with on this page. Let us begin under the Determine Device Location subheader. We need to select a method for Jamf Trust to determine user location because some policies, such as roaming, are triggered based on location data. Best effort is selected by default and works in most situations. This option has no user prompts, but is not as accurate as if we use location services. Selecting location services does prompt the user for access to their location data. If users decline, Jamf Trust is going to resort back to best effort. Lastly, you can disable location services if your organization does not intend on configuring any roaming policies. Selecting best effort is going to be fine in most cases and is recommended to avoid users getting a location prompt. However, location services is an excellent choice if you can communicate effectively to your users to enable it for Jamf Trust. For this example, I'm going to leave best effort selected. Moving downwards to the usage control section of the page, we can set the maximum number of device enrollments for this activation profile by typing in a number. Alternatively, we can set an expiry date for this activation profile to stop allowing enrollments. Administrators may want to do this to help mitigate unauthorized enrollments into Jamf data capping. For this video, I am leaving usage controls unchanged. Click Next to be presented with a summary of your activation profile. Activation profiles can't be changed once created, but you can create as many new ones as needed. When ready, click Save and Create. Then click Create Profile. We now have our enrollment page. For this video, we are only focused on open enrollment. We need to send this enrollment URL to our users. Click on the paper icon to the right of the URL to copy it to your clipboard. Once copied, you can share this URL by any approved means within your organization. Alternatively, click QR code and scan the QR code using the device's camera. If you would like, you can download the QR code by clicking Download PNG. When you are all finished, click Save. Not to worry, you can revisit this page anytime by clicking Devices, Deployment, Activation Profiles, and selecting this activation profile. On our user device, tap on the enrollment URL or scan the QR code using the device's camera. In this scenario, I am using an unmanaged BYOD iPhone, and I just received the enrollment URL via email. Visiting the enrollment URL is going to prompt the user to open the Jamf Trust app. Tap Open. The App Store is going to launch on the Jamf Trust app page. Tap Get, Install, and enter in your Apple ID password if prompted. Once Jamf Trust downloads to the device, tap Open to launch the app. Jamf Trust is going to automatically pull the enrollment URL from the device's clipboard. The user is going to be prompted for their full name and email if you selected those items in Radar. Once entered, tap Done. The Jamf Trust app will activate, and a location page is going to load if you selected location services in Radar. If not, users are going to be prompted to approve push notifications. Tap Allow Notifications, Allow. Lastly, the user is going to be prompted to enable Jamf Trust to use the device's VPN functionality. While Jamf Trust itself is not a VPN, it does leverage the VPN architecture built into iOS and Android to create a robust and secure data monitoring solution. Tap Enable, Allow. Jamf Trust is going to load a British Telecom purple and show Device and Network Protected with a large white checkmark. Tap the arrow in the lower quarter of the screen. There, we have Data Policy and Usage. Data Policy shows the mobile plan details configured in our second video, Customize Policies for Jamf Data Capping. Users can quickly see their remaining mobile data, when their plan resets, and whether they are on a domestic network or roaming. Usage shows the amount of data used during this period. Tapping on either tile is going to bring the user to a graphical reporting page. At any point, if you or another administrator want to review the status of your organization's deployment, we can sign into Radar to see what devices have enrolled. Click Devices, Manage. On this page, we can see the number of devices that have enrolled into each device group. Click the plus icon to view additional details. Great job enrolling your user devices into Jamf data capping through user-initiated enrollment. We have included a link to the deployment section of the Jamf security documentation in the video description. Give it a read. In our next video, Notifications for Jamf Data Capping, we are going to set up Radar's powerful notification features for administrators and users. I look forward to seeing you there.